Hey class, our first workout of the week of the semester, post-fitness test, right? I am going to introduce to you a typical circuit, what it would look like, some really basic exercises. The circuit is a series of exercises, right, in sort of what you would call an interval training method. So the structure is based on a work to rest ratio. So we're training our heart rate, we're working at a specific intensity, but also a duration for some of our lifting and exercises we do for our upper body and lower body, as well as our abdominal workouts and our back workouts. So they might be time related and they might be set and rep related, but the circuit is such that it's set up to do all of those jobs, all of that work within an interval. So a certain amount of time, right? And then we will repeat that same circuit over and over depending on how much time I want to put into the workout, okay? So I know that sounds like a lot, but basically what it is there's some cardio, right? So we're working on cardio, vascular training, where there's some resistance training with either your body weight, or if you have dumbbells, grab your dumbbells now, use light weights, you don't need to use heavy weights. If you don't have dumbbells and you have these like weight plates, you can grab some light weight plates and you can use those as well. If you don't have them for this workout, but you'd like to get them, they're at any sporting goods store, they're even at Target, Walmart, any place. You can also get them online if you want, any big department store, right? If you have a mat, grab a mat, or you can just do it on a rug, any of our abdominal exercises and back exercises. So that's as far as the equipment is concerned. Other than that, if you don't have any of the equipment, then just, you'll just be going through the exercises, just really focusing on tightening your muscles and flexing your muscles, that type of thing, and I'll let you know about that. But if you can grab dumbbells or weight plates, do that, and a mat would be helpful. Today's circuit is a cardio, and then upper body, 2 exercises, and then core for abs, and then another cardio, and then we have lower body exercises, and then core for back. And that will be the circuit, and I'll introduce each exercise. We'll do the exercise, and then we'll go through the circuit, and we'll have rest in between, and then we'll do the circuit again, and we'll see how we feel, and then we may even go one more time, okay? So I'm not gonna set a certain time. I might do some reps instead, especially with the upper body and the lower body workout. So just keep that in mind. So we always start with a warm-up, and so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And hopefully you're not, I feel like you probably recovered unless you did your fitness test on Sunday, and so now you're, maybe doing this workout on a Monday. But try to give yourself some time for rest, recovery in between workouts if you can, right? You're probably just trying to do the best you can and get your workouts in whenever you can, so that's fine. So we're gonna always start with a warm-up. We did this last time, so it's just gonna be a slow knee pull. We're just gonna start getting those muscles warm, increasing the blood flow, the intensity, get our heart rate up a little bit, right? And probably just limber up some tightness. So go ahead and go quicker. Good, let's do some arm swings. And of course, most of all, I want you to enjoy this. So I don't want you to think, ugh, I'm working out again, this sucks. I want you to come in with a good positive mindset and look forward to the workout with good energy, right? All right, so let's go body swings. So I want you to enjoy this. I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching it, so I hope you'll enjoy taking it. Good. All right, let's do some hip rolls back and forward. And and switch legs. Hopefully you have a good place in your house or wherever you're working out, where you have some space and some, alone time. You're doing this without distractions. Let's go ahead and lunge. Back leg down, arms down. We're going to turn and then turn. And switch legs. Turn and turn. Good. All right, we're going to come up onto our toes and then back on our heels. And then we're going to step back and push this hip down and the heel down. Feel the nice stretch in the front of that thigh up into the hip. And switch, hip down, heel down. And switch again. And switch again. So another thing I wanted to mention is, if you're really fit, you consider yourself to be really fit, like you work out a lot, right? And you're taking this class for whatever reason, and you feel like the intensity that I'm teaching at, the rate, the pace, whatever it is, isn't enough, you can always do more on your end. Like, you can add some weight, you can do it faster, more intense, right? Do it longer if you want, or quicker, or whatever it is. But this is a basic introduction to cardio circuit. So without the equipment that we would typically have in the classroom setting, this is what you get. So you get an instructor with limited resources. So, but still, your energy is your energy, so you bring it. Okay, so the first cardio exercise, it's 3-part. So we're going to start with slow high knees. So anytime we do a high knee exercise, we want to make sure that we're trying to get this knee at least up to the hip top, okay? So the top of our hip here. So even if we're just walking and bringing our knee up, we want to try and get it up high. So that's a high knee. So if we're going slow, we're just balancing on one foot and we're slowing it down. See that? An athletic move would be that you're coordinating your arm with your leg. So your opposite arm forward with your opposite leg, okay? So you'll see me swing my arms. So that's a slow high knee run. That's going to turn into a quick 3-count high knee in place, okay? And then that is going to turn into an icky shuffle, which is a 1, 2, 3 to the side. See that? So we're just transitioning from one to the next, okay? So we'll go slow high knees for a little bit of time. We'll turn that into a quick 3-count in place, and we'll turn that into an icky, which is back and forth, side to side. And you can go as fast as you want, or with me on your pace. Okay, here we go. Ready? I'm going to start the clock. We're going to go for time, and we're going to start with slow high knees. Here we go. Obviously, you're at home, you're doing this yourself, so if you want music in the background, get music on. But if you're wearing earbuds, just make sure that you stay focused on what I'm doing if you can't hear me, okay? All right, we're gonna go quick, 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 quick. So it's like a little pause at the top. You should feel a little more energy. Heart rate is increasing, yes. Good. Now we're going to go side to side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Still athletic with the arm and legs. You can go faster if you want. Have some fun. We're almost there. So we want to sustain this elevated heart rate. Stop. Good. All right, so that was 2 minutes of cardio. Pretty good, right? We're going to do some upper body exercises. So if you have your dumbbells, grab your dumbbells or your weight plates. If not, you're just doing the exercises without the weights. All right, so we have a straight arm front raise. So when we straight arm front raise, we're bringing it up and out. So it's out away from your body and in front. See that? So I'm standing tall and I'm just raising the weights or tightening my arms, squeezing my fists, right? Good. And we're going to turn this in to an arm curl after this last one. Okay? We're going to curl. That just means bringing the weights back towards the shoulders or my fists back. All right? Up and in and out and down. Up, in. And you will notice if you're using weights that your heart rate will elevate, right? Because your muscles, especially some large muscle groups, are working to push or press or pull those weights. Good, we'll go one more. Good. And put your weights down if you have your weights. All right, so the next exercise is a bent over row into a tricep extension. So we will do 2 upper body exercises in this circuit and 2 lower body exercises in this circuit. So I'm going to show you what it looks like without the weights, but if you want to grab your weights, you can. So we're going to hinge forward at our hips, keeping my knees slightly bent and my back flat. I'm going to do what's called a bent over row. So my arms are hanging from my shoulders, and I'm going to pull my elbows back at my sides, and I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades behind me, squeeze them as I pull my elbows up towards my sides and back. See that? Okay? So that's a bent over row. Flat back, and we're pulling and squeezing. So go ahead and begin. We'll go one more of these, and then we're going to turn this into a tricep extension. So we're going to go row, and then I'm going to extend my arms back behind me, squeezing my triceps, okay? And then I'm going to come back down. So it's row, extension, down, row, extension, down, row. So even without weights, If I really just focus on tightening the muscle groups being used, right, and squeezing those hands together, making fists, I can still get a workout here with body weight. One more. Good. Okay, so that's the upper body part, the 2 exercises. So we're gonna go into core and we're gonna go abs first, okay? So if you have a mat, turn it over, come on down. If you don't, just go to a spot where, maybe you need a towel or something, I don't know. Grab something, maybe if you need it, right? So our first exercise is single leg crunch, and then we're going to go into a bent leg clam drop. So I'm going to demonstrate both of those, okay? And we'll do that for time. So we're going to do single leg crunches. This is what's going to happen. Your hands will be behind your neck. When you lift up your head and your shoulders up off the mat, you're immediately going to tighten your abdominals and press your back down into the mat, okay? You should be able to feel that more when you lift your head and shoulders up. If you really focus on here, tightening and pressing, okay? You're gonna obviously breathe. You don't wanna hold your breath, so I like to exhale as I lift. When I do that, when I lift, my legs are bent to start. I'm going to pull one knee in and then lower. I keep my head up off the mat and I just drop my shoulder blades to the mat each time, okay? So that's our first exercise. Our focus is here. We're slowing it down. We're breathing, and I'll let you know when we're gonna start and stop, okay? All right, here we go. Single leg crunches. Ready? Go. Last one here, and rest. Good job. Okay, so that was about 40 seconds. So we're going to do the same time for the next exercise, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring my feet up off the ground, keeping my legs bent, and my knees and my feet are together, okay? I'm going to go ahead and lift my shoulder blades up off the mat, help my hands behind my head, and I'm holding this position here. So the clam is my knees part, my feet stay together, my knees close, and then I'm going to drop my feet down, keeping my legs bent, and lift my feet up to start, okay? So it's open, close, down. All right, here we go. Ready? Begin. Open, close, down. Start breathing here. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Your head is up off the mat. Your shoulders are up off the mat. You're tightening here and pressing that back down and breathing. We'll go one more for 40 seconds. Good. Okay. You're going to go ahead and stand up. So every time we finish a certain part of the circuit, right, a certain exercise, that's going to be our rest. Okay, so transitioning maybe from our core abs to our cardio, that'll be our recovery time or our rest time. Okay, so we're halfway through the circuit. We have our other cardio part. So we have 2 cardios, right? So this is the second cardio, and it is a 3-level or 3-tier exercise. So we're going to start with side stepping, okay, with arms raised. And then it's going to turn into a foot drop. So the foot comes back behind the leg. See that? With the arms. And then it's going to turn into a skater. So you're hopping and bringing that foot behind you. See that? Hop, balance, and you're swinging your arms. Okay? All right. So we'll go for 2 minutes total, and I'll let you know when to transition. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the side stepping. Ready? Go. So you can go as fast as you want. You can raise your arms up higher if you want, or lower. It's up to you. But the whole goal of this part of the workout is to get the heart rate up, right? And sustain it. We're going to add that drop foot, drop, back, drop, back. So we're just bringing it back behind. If you want to pick up your pace or reach up higher, you can. Just that foot comes back behind. Just a different angle, yeah? And then that next one will be the skater, and we'll swing our arms to do that. All right, and then we're going to hop and balance. Bring the other leg back behind us. You can go faster if you have coordination, right? And the balance. Or you can go slower. It's up to you. Hop and balance. And stop. Good. So the other thing I forgot to mention is if you have water, you can grab water at any time while we're resting in between the work. Okay? All right, so we have lower body at this point. So we have 2 exercises. We'll rest in between. If you want to use your dumbbells or your weight plates, you can. You don't have to. And we will go for a certain amount of repetitions. I'm going to grab my plates just so you can see what happens when I use these. So we're going to do a 4 pulse squat and stand at first. And it looks like this. So my feet are just comfortable position, distance from each other. I like to go around shoulders here. And then I'm going to make sure that my heels stay on the ground and my back is flat. Okay, see that? And I pulse at the bottom. So I hold that squat down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I pop back up, okay? That's the first part. And then the second part is we're going to narrow our squat. So I'll ask you to move your feet in, and you'll go 4, stand, step out, squat, step out, and squat, okay? I think we'll change it to a 2 pulse and then a 1 step out squat, okay? So the first part is the 4 pulse squat stand, and then we'll turn it into a 2 pulse squat and then 1 step out squat on each side, okay? All right, okay? So nice and wide, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up. Up. Heels are down, back is nice and flat, shoulders upright. So again, you can go deeper in your squat, you can go faster if you want, you can add heavier weight. Last one here to pick up your intensity, all right? So now we're gonna close the gap. So we're gonna go 2, ready? 1, 2, stand, step, squat, back, 1, 2, step, squat, 1, 2. We'll go one more set. Good, and rest. Whew. Okay, so the second lower body exercise is a slow sliding lunge with a stand position. So I'm going to show you how to do this without the weights, but you can obviously hold the weights if you'd like. It's a really wide set foot position, and I'm going to squat nice and low. My butt is down, my hips are down, and I'm going to lunge over to the side. So I'm going to slide and slide, staying low, slide back to center, stand up, okay? Here we go, let's try this, ready? Down, slide, slide, stand, down, slide, slide, stand. So it's like you're pushing off, push, push, up, push, push, up. What helps is keeping your butt down and back behind your knees. And we're going to go one more. Good. All right. Rest. If you need water, grab it. We're going to come down to our mat. And we're going to focus on our back. So we're going to do 2 exercises here. The first one is a modified dog kick. So dog kicks are done in a table position, hands and knees. Okay, and so when we do this, when we hold this position, we want to make sure our abdominals, our abs are engaged so that our back is flat and stabilized, okay? So you want to try and focus on pulling or tightening those muscles there. And then you're breathing, of course. Now from here, I'm going to keep my right arm bent. See, my arm is bent, and I just lift it out in front, like I'm going to hit the back of my forehead with my back of my palm. And then I'm going to lift my bent left leg up behind me at the same time. So it looks like this. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. See that? Nice and controlled. All right, we're going to do this for time. Here we go. Ready? Begin. Nice and slow. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Breathing. Keep the leg bent, keep the arm bent. go. Last one here. Good. Okay. Second exercise, we're going to come down to our tummies. And we're going to do what's called a Superman or a Superwoman, right? And so the arms and the legs are extended out away from our body. And we're just going to lift arms and legs up off the mat. So it looks like this. Okay? And then we lower. When we lift our arms and our legs, focus on pressing the hips down, the abdominal wall down, pressing it, connecting to the mat, and tightening the glutes, okay? And exhaling. So lift and exhale at the same time, and then lower and inhale. So slowing it down, we're going to pause at the top. This is for time as well. Ready? Go. And down, up, and down. You can keep your arms bent. I like to look down at the mat and not look ahead so that I keep a neutral neckline. You should feel this in the back, definitely. Keep breathing. We're going to go one more. Good. All right, push yourself up and back for a nice little low back stretch here. And then if you want to grab some water because we're going to start again. So we're going to repeat same exercises, same circuit again. Okay, so that wasn't so bad, right? We're going to repeat everything again. So starting with the cardio, we're going to do the slow high knees, right? And then we'll do the quick 3 in place. And then we'll turn it into lateral icky. Got it? We'll do that for 2 minutes. You control the intensity or the speed, right? The pace. And then we're going to go right into our upper body exercises. And then after that, we're going to rest a little bit and then go into our core, okay? So we'll rest in between the first 2 instead of each one. Make sense? You can do the upper body exercises with or without the weights. It's up to you. Okay, here we go. So slow, high knees. Ready? And go. Get the knee up. Athletic move. Opposite arm. Nice and vertical in your trunk. Hips are doing the work. Keep that knee up. We're going to turn this into a 3 count pause, remember? So it's quicker. Ready? Go. Get the knees up. Then we'll turn this into that icky, right? That lateral 3-step. Ready? And go. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Still getting the knee up. Heart rate should definitely be elevated, yes? You can go faster. Almost there, almost there. Keep going. Next will be upper body. And stop. Grab your weights if you want. Straight arm, front raises. Here we go. We're going to try to keep that heart rate up. We're going for reps here. Add the curl. This will be our last one. And then we'll go bent over rows. Here we go. Ready? Back, back. Back is flat. Heels are down. Knees are bent. Squeezing. Exhaling as you lift. We're going to turn this to an extension. Here, extend, back and down. Here, extension, back and down. Last one. Good. All right, and rest. Grab some water if you need it. Whew. We're going to go down to the mat for abs, and then back up for cardio, and then we'll have a rest after that as well, okay? All right, remember the first exercise? It's a crunch with a knee pull, and then we're going to turn that into that clam leg drop, okay? All right, here we go. Come on down. Hands are behind the neck. We're going to go for time. Ready? Go. Remember to focus on tightening your abdominal wall, pressing it down, your back down into the mat as you lift. Exhale. Last one here. And you're going to bring your feet up off the floor. Keep your knees and your feet together. And we're going to keep our head elevated. Here we go. Clam. Leg drop. Keep your feet together. Clam. Drop. After this, we'll stand up. There's no break after this, okay? So we get up, and then we're going to go right into that side stepping for the cardio, okay? Last one here. Good. All right, come on up. And then we go for time. Starting with the side stepping with arms in front. Here we go. Remember, this moves into the drop foot, right behind, but right now we're just side stepping. You control the intensity and the pace. If you want to bring your arms up, you can. That will get your heart rate up a little bit higher because your arms are above your heart, or just right in level with your chest is up to you. How your arms feel. You can pick up your pace if you want. Okay, we're going to drop step. Pull it back behind the other foot. After this, we'll turn this into our skater exercise, right? The hop and balance with the foot behind and the arm swings. All right, we're going to do that now. Up, swing, bring that arm out in front, bring that leg around the back. You can go faster if you're coordinated and have good balance. So your trunk is slightly tilted forward, right? Always have a bend in your knee. Flexible ankles, flexible knees, flexible hips, all your joints. And stop. Good. Grab some water if you need it. And then we have 2 more to go. So we have that lower body pulsing, right? The pulsing squats, the 4 of them, and then that turns into a 2 pulse and a step out squat, okay? I'm gonna use my plates. You don't have to. So we're gonna go 4 pulsing squats. We're gonna go 4 repetitions, okay? So nice and wide in the stance. Ready? Here we go, 4 pulse. Make sure your heels are down, your butt is back, your back is flat. Not a big bounce or pulse, just enough to call it a pulse. One more. Okay, now it's close. Here we go. 2, side, side, back to center. 2, side, side, back to center. 2, this will be our last one here. Good. All right, a little bit of rest. We're going to go into the side slides, right? Wide, 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 wide. Here we go, deep. And we're going to go push off, slide, back to center, and stand. All right? Here we go. Two more. Last one. Good. All right, come on down. Back. Table position. Dog kicks. Bent arm and leg lift. Remember, it's opposite arm, opposite leg. Here we go. Up and down. Other arm, other leg. Pull those abs up and in. Breathe. Last two, last one. Good. Come on down to your tummies. You have your Superwoman, Superman lifts. Ready? Go. More seconds. Five more seconds. And you're done. All right, push up and back. All right, so we are going to finish with some push-ups, and then we're going to stretch, okay? All right, so we're going to go slow, really slow, and we're going to go knees down. It's up to you if you want to do slow push-ups with your knees off the ground. It's whatever you feel like, but I feel like this is a significant workout, going slow with your knees down, okay? So this is what we're going to do. Hips are down. Back is flat, hands are leading my shoulders and wide as my shoulders. Okay, now I'm going to go down for a 3 count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I don't go all the way down, I just go just short of down and then all the way up slowly. All right, breathe. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Stay with me. 8, 2 more. 9, 1 more. Good, pull it back. Bring your arms back to your sides. Good job. All right, we're going to come to a seated position. Bring your legs in front. This is where we cool down. For some of you, this is the best part, right? Okay, go ahead and widen your legs in a V position. We're just going to pitch forward and stretch. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. Your first workout done. Come over to the side. So leaning towards this leg, see if you can reach over. Back to center. Other side. Back to center. Good. All right, we are going to bend one leg. So I'm going to bring this leg in front. I'm going to bend this leg back for our hurdler position, and then I'm just going to lean back. And then I'm going to come forward and switch sides. Hurdler and lean back. And come forward. You're going to go into a butterfly position. So your feet are together, knees are out. Butterfly forward. So you're just going to lean forward. Hold on to your feet if you can. And butterfly back. You're going to bring your hands back. You're going to lean back and drop your head back. And drop your head down. You're going to straighten your legs. You're going to walk your hands forward and down the center of your body. All right, so extra stretches you can do if you want. You can do a crossover pull stretch for the outside hip on each side. You can do those on your own. You can do some arm stretches on your own across your chest. You can reach up, pull your elbow back. And you can also bring your hands interlocked behind you and lean forward, okay? Back stretches. Come on your back. You can bring your knees in to release that back. You can pull that leg across to release that back as well. Okay? Or any special stretches you have, right? If you want to stretch out those Achilles, you can press those Achilles down, the heels down, stretch out the calves and the Achilles, yes. Hip stretches. Pushing the hip down. Okay. On both sides. Yeah, so all kinds of things, all kinds of stretches you can do. But that's it today, you guys. So good job. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of the work you put in. Hopefully it wasn't too much for some of you and it was enough for others. And we'll have one more workout, so looking forward to it. Good job. Bye.